The managers, before they take the decisions, they will be guided by the policies of the business. Whereas in case of a business policy, it will be usually in case of repetitive activity. Policies or statements are commonly accepted understanding of decision making. Whenever the vision of the visionary is shared between the organization, it creates a sense of commonality. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In this session, we will be having a discussion on what is business policy and strategic management, a comparison of that. And then we will be having a discussion on what is the vision and mission of the organization. Now, let us have a comparative look at what is business policy and strategic management. Now, strategic management deals with strategic decisions that decide the long-term health of an enterprise. It is a comprehensive plan of action designed to meet certain specific goals. Now, in the strategic management, it usually deals with the long-term goals of the organization. So, the strategic management or strategic decisions or strategic plans, whatever they make for the organization, it will be done keeping in mind the long run or for the future next 10 years or for the next 20 years, what is the strategy used by the organization. Whereas in case of a business policy, it offers guidelines for managers to take appropriate decisions. Now, in case of business policy, we should understand that they are just guidelines for the managers in taking the whatever the day-to-day issues, whatever comes up in the organization. So, that will be taken up by the business policy. So, the managers, before they take the decisions, they will be guided by the policies of the business. Then, next one is strategic management is a means of putting a policy into effect within certain time limits. So, whatever the policy is there, so they will be having a time frame within which this strategy should be used. So, strategic management will be usually based on the time basis or time within which it should be implemented. Whereas business policy, the general course of action with no defined time limits. So, whatever the business policy are framed, so they will be running or they will be in force as long as the business is being carried on. So, we should understand that it is a general course of action with no time limits, whereas for strategic management, it will be coming with a time limit. Now, the next one is strategic management deals with those decisions which have not been encountered before in quite the same form, for which no predetermined and explicit set or ordered response exists in the organization, and which are important in terms of resource committed or the precedents set. So, in case of strategic management, it deals with, they are very exclusive. So, if there is any situation in front of the company, in this kind of a situation, the company would not have just encountered at all. So, whatever is the situation, based on the situation, they will have to just do this strategic management. So, they have to manage the situation in based on the situational analysis, and that is what we call as strategic management. But whereas in case of a business policy, it will be usually in case of repetitive activity. So, the routine activities of the business, that will be taken care of by business policy. Whereas in strategic management, it will be usually a one-time approach. For example, the corona. When corona came, almost everything came to a standstill. So, then the management had to decide whether they have to retrench all the employees or whether to pay them salary and keep them in the company. So, this kind of strategic decisions have to be encountered whenever the company faces an unusual situation, a situation which they have not faced before. So, all those decisions we call it as strategic decisions. Then, next, strategic management deals with crucial decisions whose implementation requires constant attention of the top management. So whenever strategic management decisions are implemented, so it will be always under the invigilation of the top management. So how it has to be implemented, it will be decided by the top management, and it will be closely monitored by the top management at each step. So business policy decisions, once formulated, can be delegated and implemented by others independently. Whereas in case of a business policy, there is no need for closely monitoring it, because it will be in the routine of day-to-day activities of the business, and it can be implemented by everybody in the organization. Then strategies are specific actions suggested to achieve the objectives. So policies are statements or commonly accepted understanding of decision making. So we should understand that the strategies are formed for attainment of certain specific objectives of the organization, whereas in case of a business policy, it will be for understanding of decision making. For example, the company has a goal objective of attaining the sales of 1 lakh units in that forthcoming year. Then for that, they will be making the strategy. So how to just raise the sales of that particular product to 1 lakh. So what are the various strategies you formulate? What are the various things you just do? Or how do you advertise? How do you attract the target customer? How do you just attract the prospective customers and see that they buy the product? So all these will be strategies formulated by the company. Whereas in case of business policies, it will be usually at the point of decision making. Then strategies are action oriented, policies are thought oriented. So strategy is there to put it into action, whereas policies are there to help in decision making. So we call it as thought oriented, whereas here it is action oriented. Strategies are formed to see that they are implemented in a better way, but in case of policies, it will be usually in the mind. It will help in the decision making of the manager. In case of strategic management, everyone is empowered to implement the strategy. In case of policies, the power is delegated to the subordinates for implementation. So in case of strategic management, the entire organization will be focused on implementation of these strategic decisions in order to attain the objectives, whereas in case of policies, the power will be delegated to the subordinates for implementation. So policies are there for implementation by the lower levels of management, whereas strategies, they will be implemented by the top management. Under the supervision of the top management only it can be implemented. Then strategies are means to an end, policies are guidelines. So whenever strategies are made, it will be usually to attain a desired end. So what is the end of this? After this strategic plan, we have to get this result. So that is the basis for all strategies, whereas policies are just guidelines. So they are just guidelines. So they tell us what we have to do and what we don't have to do. Whereas strategy is concerned with uncertainties, competitive situations and risks that are likely to take place at a future date. Policy in general concerned with the course of action to fulfill the set objectives. So in case of strategy, it is usually concerned with uncertainties. So we don't know. So these strategies are formed, be implemented in situations which are uncertain. So we don't know how this business environment will be when we implement the strategy. And then we will be having to deal with competitive situations. Then we will also having to deal with the risks. So all these things will be there in case of a strategy, but in case of a business policy, it will be done only for attainment of a set of objectives. Then strategy is deployed to mobilize the available resources, the best interest of the company, whereas policy is an overall guide that governs and controls the managerial action. Now, this strategy is done to mobilize the available resources. So, whatever resources are there, To mobilize them, we will be using this strategy, whereas policy is an overall guide that governs managerial action. So, we have a comparison of business strategy and business policy. Now, let us have a look into what is the meaning of the word vision. So, whenever we think of a company, we say that so the founder was a great visionary. So, what was his vision of the company? So, let us now understand what is the meaning of the word vision. Vision and mission statements are powerful shapers of effective corporate cultures for many organizations. So, whenever a large corporate body is being set up, so it will be usually the vision of a great person. So, the person who has founded that company, so he will be doing so with the vision and mission. So, what is his vision statement and what is his mission statement? Based on that, so we will be knowing what the company, why the company has been created and what are the activities of the company. So, these statements present the values, philosophies and aspirations. So, when we read the vision statement or when we read the mission statement, we will be able to know what are the values, what are the philosophies and what are the aspirations that guide the organizational action. So, what are the values they follow? What are the philosophies they follow and what is the hope with which they are doing this work? So, all this, the vision and mission will be the guidelines. In fact, they motivate and inspire the current and future employees of the organization. So, we should understand that whenever the organization sends out its vision or mission, so it will be a motivating factor for the employees of the organization. So, when they read the vision or mission of the organization, they should feel inspired and it should motivate them to work towards the attainment of these vision and mission of the organization. Then, let us have a look at what is another definition of the word mission. An organizational vision is the answer to the question what we want to create. Shared visions in organization create a sense of commonality that permeates the organization and gives coherence to diverse activities. So, what do we want to create? So, whenever a business organization is set up, so there will be a question mark. What does it want? So, what will it create? What is the product which is being offered? So, shared vision. So, whenever the vision of the visionary is shared between the organization, it creates a sense of commonality. So, when the vision is shared among all the employees, they just become a part of that organization and through that it gives coherence to diverse activities. So, with the help of the vision of that great visionary, all these people who are working under him, they have a sense of fulfillment, they have a sense of teamwork and sense of cooperation in their activities, and as such it will be a motivating factor for the employees. The corporate vision has the potential power to focus the collective energy of insiders and to give the outsiders a better idea of what an organization really is. Now, when we read what is the corporate vision of that particular organization, so it has the potential power to focus the collective energy of the insiders. So, through the vision itself, we can know what the insiders of the company are doing, what is their collective power and how they are utilizing the power, and it will also give the outsiders a better idea of what is going on in the organization. So, what kind of organization is and what are the values on which the organization stands. So, all this they will be able to know with the help of this corporate vision. Then, next, let us have a look into what are the features of vision. So, when you develop a vision for an organization, what are the essential characteristics of the vision? So, vision is developed through sharing across an organization. Famous stories of successful visions involve visions that have been widely shared across the entire organization. An individual leader, often a founder, has a powerful impact on others in the organization. So whenever a vision of the organization is spelled out explicitly, then it will be the goal for which the entire organization will have to work for. The employees will be motivated in seeing that this vision comes true, and it will be an inspirating factor for all the employees of the organization. So whenever a vision is developed, so it should be shared across the organization, and usually the famous stories of successful visions of visionaries, so it should be there in the organization, and an individual leader, often the founder, so he will have an impact on the others in the organization. So the individual leader will have an impact on all the other employees in the organization. The next feature of vision is the method of convincing others about the vision. The leaders, by working hard along with others, convince others in the organization rather than simply delivering the speeches. So whenever a vision for the organization is written, it should be convincing to the employees. So whenever we share a vision, we should see that the leader who has come up after his hard work, he has come up in the organization, so he will be sharing his vision, and this vision, whatever he is sharing, it should be convincing to the employees of the organization. Then next one is change agents. Leaders must recognize the complexity of changing an outmoded vision to reflect new realities. Organization must redefine themselves through updated vision of the future through new objectives and strategies. So change agents. Now the leaders must recognize the complexity of changing an outmoded vision to reflect new realities. Now the vision would have been founded by the visionary when he started the organization. Now as and when the time changes, slowly the company's vision also will change, and in keeping with the change in vision, the new vision also should be updated vision of the future also should be given to the employees, keeping in view the new objectives and strategies of the business. Now let us have a look at what is the mission. So in this mission, we should understand that it will be all those activities in which the company will be engaged in. Now let us have a look into the meaning of the word mission. The organization, whether it is a business or a social organization or government, takes resources from the environment, converts the resources into goods or services. So whenever a mission of an organization, or whenever an organization is set up, it will be just bringing together of the men, money, machines and materials. So all the four have to be brought together in order to see that a company is formed. Now whenever the company is formed, the company will be drawing resources from its environment, and it will be making use of these resources to produce goods and services for the benefit of the society. Now it supplies goods and services to the environment at an acceptable price. The organizations which make net contribution to the society are called legitimate. So whatever organization which are beneficial, they provide those goods and services which are necessary for the society, those organizations we call it as legitimate organizations. But then as time passes, technology, consumer preference, other environmental factors change, the firms produces new products or service or renders new services, and the interest of management and the employees change. So this results in a significant change in the firm. Now as and when the time passes, the organization's products, it undergoes a change in the change in its activities. The firm produces new kind of products, or it will give new services in the interest of the management and the employees. You take the example of this Kodak company. So Kodak, we know what is this Kodak company famous for? It used to make films, photo films. So once with the help of with the advent of the latest technology, that is the mobiles, now this company has been closed. Why? Because now we don't need on any negatives of the films to take photos. Now most of the photos can be done with the help of this latest technology. We have the pixels here, and with the help of that we can take the photos, and as such this company is not there any longer. So this is one very good example for why the products have undergone a sea change. Now these companies' products are no longer in demand because of the latest technology which is entering in the market. So as a result of which the company had to strategize. Now if it had done a strategy, then it would have made some business. Now this is the mission what I had to explain. Then next one, the original mission or purpose may become irrelevant in the long run due to changes in the internal environment of the organization or appropriate external environment. So when the change takes place, management must search for a new purpose or state the new mission or restate the original mission. So whenever there is a lot of change in the purpose of the organization, which may be this change may be due to the internal environment or the external environment. Here in case of this Kodak company, we can see that the change is because of the external environment, that is the technology. The latest technology has entered the market, as a result of which the company cannot, these products are not in demand any longer. Or for that example, take the example of radio manufacturing companies. So they are not at all in demand now. Why? Because the simple mobile, it has replaced almost everything. It has replaced the radio, it has replaced the camera, it has replaced the tape recorder, it has replaced the VCD. So all this, one single mobile has replaced all these gadgets. So when there is a change in the external environment, the management must search for new purpose. So when the products are no longer in demand, the management must see that what is the next alternative, what other alternatives it has in front of him, and then it has to see that what is the new mission or the new statement of the original mission. Now, mission is defined as an enduring statement of purpose that distinguishes one organization from other similar organizations. So, this mission is something which changes or something which differentiates one organization from another. So, what is the purpose of setting up one organization will be different from purpose of setting up another organization. So, most of the organizations define the fundamental reason for their existence in terms of the mission statement. So, what is the mission they have and why they have set up the business? So, that will be the answer to the mission statement. The organizations do exist to satisfy a particular need of the society or to fulfill a particular deficiency in the society. It thus defines a particular role for itself to play in the society. So, whenever organizations come up, it will be usually an answer to the existing problems faced by the customers. So, whenever the customers face any of the problems, it will be an answer. So, the product will be an answer to the customers, what the problems the customers face. Now, this organization thus finds a particular role for itself to play in the society. So, whatever products it will bring out, it will be beneficial for the society as such. Then, for example, the society may have the need for having quick information. An organization may come into being. Providing quick information will be the mission of that organization. So, provision of quick information becomes the mission of that particular organization. Similarly, society has many needs like cheap and fuel economy cars, acquiring knowledge, quick food, fast and comfortable travel, healthcare, entertainment, childcare and like. Organizations do exist to produce the products or render services to satisfy these needs of the society. That particular role of the firm would be its mission. Now, as a society, we have a necessity for so many goods. So, it may be like we need cheap and fuel efficient cars. So, this is the need of the hour. So, why? Because the fuel prices are going very high. So, we see that we get those vehicles which give us more mileage. Then, next one is acquiring knowledge. So, from where we can get more knowledge. So that is one of the greatest necessities. Then quick food. So this quick food is here to stay. The fast food restaurants are there. In addition to that, we have the online food services like Swiggy or Zomato, etc., which will be providing food at the doorstep. Then fast and comfortable travel. So we need to have fast and comfortable travel. We need to have a set of airlines or railways, so which will ensure that we have very good and comfortable travel. Then healthcare. So we have a necessity to see that we have good health services whenever there is a ill health in the family. So healthcare accessibility is one of the prominent necessities. Then entertainment. So entertainment also. So we need the whole family wants to go out and it just wants to spend its time in fun. So what is the entertainment the businesses are offering? The childcare, etc. So all these kinds of products, if the business is giving this, then that will be the mission of that particular company. Then a mission statement is the declaration of an organization's reason for being. So when the mission of an organization is carefully defined, it provides a statement to insiders and outsiders of what the corporation stands for, its purposes, image and character. So a mission statement, what is a mission statement? It is a declaration that why the company has been created. So it will give an answer to why the company has been formed. So it will be an answer for that. And when the mission of it is carefully defined, so it will provide the statement to insiders and outsiders. So what the corporation stands for, what is the purpose of that particular organization, what is the image of the organization, what is the character. So all this we will be knowing in the mission. Then the mission statement should be a long run vision of what the organization is trying to become, unique aim that differentiates it from other similar organizations. So we should understand that these mission statements are long run vision. So they will be statements in the long run. In the long run, what the company wants to be. So that it will be in terms of the mission statement and how this company is different from other companies. Then it provides direction and significance to all the members of the organization. So whenever a mission statement is spelled out, it will give directions and significance to all the members. Now let us have a look into the features of the mission. So first thing is it should be feasible. A mission should always aim high but should not be an impossible statement. It should be realistic and achievable. Its followers must find it to be credible. So in case of a mission statement, it should be a feasible proposition. So it should not be unrealistic. It should not be too high nor too low, and it should be in such a way that people feel that it is credible. Then second one, it should be precise. A mission statement should not be so narrow as to restrict the organization activities nor to be too broad to make itself meaningless. So whenever we spell out a mission statement, it should not just tell whatever its activities are, not too broad where we find that the mission statement is useless. So manufacturing bicycles is a narrow mission since it severely limits the organizational activities, while mobility business is too broad as it does not define the reasonable contour within which the organization could operate. Suppose we just write the mission statement as manufacturing bicycles. So what will happen? This manufacturing bicycles will narrow down the mission of the organization. So whenever we say that the manufacturing bicycles is the mission of an organization, it just narrows the mission of the organization to only manufacturing bicycles. But then when we say that it is mobility business, it will include everything, all sorts of mobility business. So we should see that the mission statement is appropriate. Then next one is it should be clear. The mission should be clear enough to lead to action. It should not just be high sounding set of platitudes meant for publicity purposes. So it should be clear enough to lead to action. So whatever is the mission statement, it should lead to implementation of the mission statement. Then it should be motivating. A mission statement should be motivating for the members of the organization and of the society. They should feel it worthwhile for working for an organization or being its customer. So this mission statement should be motivating both for the employees as well as for the outsiders. The customers also should be they should feel motivated when they see the mission statement, and also the employees also, they should feel exhilarated. Then it should be distinctive. It is a mission statement which is indiscriminate is likely to have little impact. So each company's mission statement should be distinctive. Then next, it should indicate the major components of strategy. Along with the organizational purpose, it should indicate the major components of the strategy to be adopted. So whenever a mission statement is spelled out, we should also see that the strategy also is being spelled out. It should indicate how objectives are to be accomplished. Besides indicating the broad strategies, it should also provide clues regarding the manner in which the objectives are to be accomplished. So when we give this mission statement, we should know what are the objectives of the company and how the objectives are to be accomplished, and the manner in which the objectives are to be accomplished. So with this, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you.